Hey everyone, Steven here at My Life Outdoors. So, you remember that movie Twins from the 80s starring Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger? The two were twins, born as part of a genetic experiment, but separated at birth. And that's what I think about when I think about ultralight versus traditional backpacking. These two things that are very closely related, but drastically different. Well, today I'm talking about the pros and cons of both, but looking at it primarily through the lens of ultralight backpacking. And I feel like I need to say right off the bat that I'm not a true ultralight backpacker. I dabble in ultralight, but also enjoy some heavy comforts that hardcore ultralight backpackers would probably scoff at. I go back and forth. And honestly, I think you have to make a video like this. Too far one way or the other, and you're going to have a hard time being objective. And so starting with the cons, here are the pros and cons of ultralight backpacking. Con number one, cost. Ultralight gear is expensive, and ultralight gear isn't expensive. You see, when most people get into backpacking for the first time, they don't usually buy the lightest equipment. Most new backpackers don't start off thinking, I want to be an ultralight backpacker. It's just not on their radar. Usually you buy some gear, you go out a few times, and then the more that you go out, you start thinking about how heavy everything is that you're carrying. And then you start looking at buying lighter gear. And it's at that point that it seems expensive because you already have expensive gear that is perfectly good. It's just heavy. So when I say going ultralight is expensive, that's what I mean. Going ultralight, converting to ultralight is expensive. The gear doesn't necessarily cost that much more, but paying several $100s on a new tent or a new pack is hard to do when you already paid several $100s on the gear that you have. So ultralight con number one is the cost to go ultralight. Durability. So there's a reason why the term heavy duty has the word heavy in it, because the more durable something is, the more weight it has. And this is the problem with ultralight gear. Most of the gear we buy, our packs, our tents, our sleeping bags, our quilts, they're all made of fabric. And to reduce weight, that fabric needs to get thinner. And the thinner it is, well, the less durable it is. Now, there are some pretty incredible technologies out there like Dyneema and Cuban fiber, which have really good strength to weight ratios. But even those are not as durable as heavy duty 70D nylon. So ultralight con number two is durability. Camp comfort. In general, the lighter something is, the less comfortable it's going to be. There's a reason why when I go car camping, I don't take my backpacking gear. I take big roomy tents, big plush air mattresses, large chairs, 2-burner stoves. You get the picture. Because when I don't care how much something weighs, I realize that these larger, heavier items are more comfortable. Just like when I'm at home in my bedroom, I don't sleep on an air mattress because my big plush bed is 1,000 times more comfortable and 1,000 times heavier. The same is true of ultralight gear. The tents are smaller, the sleeping bags are narrower, the titanium pots are good for boiling water, and that's about it. You aren't as likely to take a chair or a book or a backpacking oven. Yes, backpacking ovens are a thing. I even have a whole video about it. So there's certainly a trade-off when it comes to how comfortable you are. But the challenge of ultralight is also part of the fun. Pro number one, the challenge. Ultralight is a mindset of simplicity. Speaking of car camping, I love to car camp with my family, but if you ask me what I prefer backpacking for one main reason. It's just simpler. It takes up less room, everything is right there on my back. I don't have to worry about where did I put this or that piece of gear because the answer is always in my pack. I love the simplicity of backpacking, and ultralight backpacking takes the idea of simplicity as far as it will go. It's almost like a puzzle. How do I take all the things that I need to take while keeping my base weight as low as possible? What gear do I switch out or upgrade? What can I modify? What can I leave behind and what can I not? If you love gear and researching gear and just plain thinking about gear, then you will love the challenge of going ultralight. Joints.
Hijo de la chingada. Is that a joint, man?
No, not that kind of joint. Your knees, your ankles, your back. If you've ever suffered from a knee injury or just plain knee pain, then you are someone who can appreciate ultralight backpacking. I especially hear older hikers talking about this. They claim that ultralight backpacking has allowed them to continue their passion well into their later years. It's almost like traditional backpacking is a young person's game. Hike further. But no matter what your age, it's hard to deny that a lighter pack allows you to hike further and faster. I've talked about this a little in another video. If you think about a car pulling a trailer, your car can certainly do it, But the more stuff you put in that trailer, the more it's going to bog down and the more fuel it's going to use, especially when it starts going uphill. And it'll be harder on the brakes going downhill. The same is true of backpacking. Just think about day hiking and how many more miles and how much faster you're able to hike with a day pack. Now imagine that all the time, and you can see the appeal of ultralight. Comfort. So once again, it comes back to comfort. If traditional backpacking is more comfortable at camp, then ultralight is more comfortable on the hike for all the reasons we've already talked about. I heard someone put it this way: the pro of ultralight is that you take less stuff, and the con of ultralight is that you take less stuff. The question is, what is more important to you? Seriously, I'd love to know. Are you an ultralight backpacker or are you more traditional? Leave me a comment and let me know. And if you aren't subscribed, I put out backpacking gear and tip videos just about every week, and I'd love to have you subscribe. So please go ahead and subscribe, and if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. This helps this video get in front of more people. Also, if you don't mind, follow me on Instagram at My Life Outdoors, and as always, thanks for watching.